All right, guys, welcome to our meeting. Patrick Hurley here, your friendly investor, back with the legendary deal negotiator and just overall real estate genius, Gary Shevitz, staring into the camera. Guys, if
Well,
you
it's
are,
a great effect, let's face it, right?
I don't know if that's
Hey,
intimidation.
look, can I usurp you for a minute before you get on a roll here?
Yes, you sure
So,
can.
so everybody who's new to the Elephant Challenge, not just new to this, but new to the Elephant Challenge, would you put new in the chat, please?
Yep. And if you're joining us, if you're back again, put fam. Yeah, baby.
I
We
don't
got
see
some
anything.
fam.
All right. So a lot of brand new people here. All
Love it.
right. I just want to say a bunch of people reached out to me individually. I'm ready to get started. Where are you going to give me a list? Are you going to? Do you guys realize that we have absolutely no idea what Pace is going to do on these sessions, where he's going to go, what kind of homework he's going to assign? So as soon as he decided that we're going to focus on foreclosures, Patrick and Mike and we're like, everybody, what, we got to do what? Pivot time. So, it's not like we're prepared for what he's going to do. And that's fine, not complaining, but everybody I just want you all to realize that, okay, if we're going to do foreclosures and we're going to provide you lists to call, et cetera, and support for that, we had literally have to pivot away from what we've been doing and say, okay,
Yep.
big shift of gears, change directions, restart, so I just want you guys to appreciate that Pace does not give us any advance warning. None of the elephant leaders. I don't even think he tells Carly because frankly, I don't think he knows until he's there. And all of a sudden he's, all right, we're doing foreclosures.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So just everybody I appreciate everybody who's eager and excited about getting started, and we want to help you. And Mike has arrived, so I want to add a spotlight. There we go.
Yeah,
So I
and
just want, yeah.
just to add to that, guys, so we can clarify here, because we don't want to confuse you, right? Like you've got Pace at the top, and I always take his advice as close to gospel. I take it very seriously. But what Gary's saying is that Gary has a business that he's already structured. So have I. We're both successful. We're both making money. We're both closing multiple transactions every month. So for us to stop what we're doing and redesign our business around something like foreclosures, there would be a lot of cost opportunity involved in doing that. That all being said, if you guys do have foreclosure leads, we're more than happy to help you with them. It's just not going to be our specific focus. Okay. So I hope that doesn't take the wind out of your sails if you've been focusing on foreclosures. If that's what you want to focus on that, guys. In any industry, real estate or not, let me give you another example. They interviewed who's the guy at Microsoft? My brain's not firing today.
Bill Gates,
Bill Gates.
maybe.
Bill Gates. Bill Gates. They interviewed Bill Gates, and they also interviewed Warren Buffett separately, and they asked them in one word.
And they're two best buddies. You know that, right? The
Right.
two of them are very close.
Right. And in this interview, separately done, they asked them, "What's the one thing that you can attribute to your success?" And both of them separately said the same thing, and that was focus. Right. So what I want you to hear is that we're not necessarily telling you not to focus on foreclosures. What I am saying is focus on something and just that one thing. I have so many people hitting me up in my DMs. Hey, I've got this sober living thing or this multifamily thing. And it's like they haven't even closed their first deal yet. So I'm not saying don't focus on those things, but if you're going to tackle multifamily or something that's a little bit more complicated, then you should be only focusing on that. Not single family, not wholesale, not creative, not all of the things. Focus on one thing at a time. Okay. All right, guys. So let me jump into what the hell we're going to be doing here for this meeting before we get way off track. So today, guys, we're going to be talking about exactly what we're going to be focusing on. And in the beginning here, some of you are new. So I'm going to go over mindset. I'm going to go over exactly how you should be addressing your day-to-day in terms of what's in between your ear to be successful in real estate. I'm going to kind of draw out how this all works on a board. We're going to talk about elephant compensation, what that looks like, how you can actually make money working with us. Okay. We're going to also talk about how to join our team, what expectations we do have if you are going to join our team. We're also going to be having what we're referring to as action taker only meetings. So these meetings will only be for those of you who are actually taking action. And we understand that there's two parts to this. We want to show you the back end or what's under the hood of a real estate business, but we can't do that unless you actually take your first steps. Okay. We're going to show you where you can get lists and scripts from us that we've put together. And then we're going to explain the meeting structure moving forward, what that's going to look like. We're also going to have an opportunity for you guys to invest in our deals. If maybe you don't want to be making calls, maybe you feel like you don't have the time, we're going to give you a way that you can invest in our deals. And then we're going to give you some homework. Then we'll end with the Q&A. So if you have questions now, jot them down, guys. Put them in the side chat. We'll try to address them as we go. If you have questions as to what we're talking about as we go, put them in the side chat. If you have general questions, wait till the end. And then at the end of the meeting, we'll be talking about what we're going to be doing on Wednesday. We're going to have a special guest. All right. So,
Right. So Patrick, I think it would great. Thank you for that great rundown on the agenda. But would you introduce yourself to everybody, because we
sure.
have a lot of new people here, and I think I'll do the same, and we'll ask Mike too. And Mike, if you could answer people's questions in the chat, that would give us some chat support. That would really help. Go for it, Patrick.
I'm going to make it really quick because I actually don't like talking about myself, guys. But
that's all right. I love talking about Patrick, so I'll fill in whatever he leaves out.
My name is Patrick Hurley. I live and I was born and raised in California. Oh no, California. Pace says don't invest there. Guys, I'm making a ton of money in California. So what Pace was referring to was buy and holds, which I also have rental property in the state. So he's not wrong, but in terms of wholesale and making money, we have one of the highest median price points and one of the highest liquidity points. So do the math, guys. I'm making a ton of money. So if you're in California and the wind was knocked out of your sails, don't worry about it. Stick to one thing, focus on it. So anyways, my background is in sales and marketing. I own 2 physical gym locations at one point. COVID happened. I pivoted. I went into marketing full time. And then I found real estate. I've literally only been doing this for just over a year now, and we're running about 6 figures every quarter. So in a short amount of time, we've ramped up.
That's assignment fees, right?
That's pure assignment fees, guys. On
did everybody hear that? 6 figures every quarter.
Yeah.
And you know what? I know that probably within the next 12 months, Patrick's going to hit 6-figure months, and that's going to become the new platform. And then it's just going to grow from there.
That is the goal. Yeah. So I say these things not to impress you, but to impress upon you that if you really put your head down and you go to work and you focus and you don't give up, you can make a career out of this. If that's your goal, you can walk away from your W-2. You have to meet the right people. You have to have focus, and you just have to get better every single day. And that's really it. So Gary, do you want to intro yourself?
And yeah, and I just want to point out, it was a year ago you were ready to quit, right? Just about a year ago, right?
100%, guys.
You were so bummed. You were looking for a new W-2 job.
I was
right?
taking job interviews. Yeah.
All right. So, and that was a year after getting started, you know?
Yeah.
So,
my first year, guys, I made 20 in a full year. I made 26K, which is and I was working on this for 10 to 12 hours a day. So that's like pennies, I was working for pennies my first year, and then we had a breakthrough. So again, I mentioned that stuff, guys, because it's going to take some time to get you to where you want to be. But if you really put your mind to it, you can do it.
There may be one of you in here that's brand new, that's just going to explode right out of the gate. There may be 2 or 3 of you that might get close to 6 figures. And the rest of you mortals will, it's going to take time. It's a journey. It's not a rocket ship ride for most people. There are people that do rocket to success in all aspects of life. We see it all the time. but don't measure yourself by other people's performance. Make sure that you're measuring your own performance and getting better every day, every week. That's where success comes.
That's it.
I'm Gary Sheffitz. I've been working with Patrick for quite 2 years now.
Since I got started almost, yeah.
Yeah. So, because you got started from the Elephant Challenge. That's, even though we're both Subto students, that's what brought us together. So I'm a licensed agent in California. My serious passion is doing flips. Flipping homes is a disease for which there is no known cure. Once you're hooked, it's very difficult to get it out of your blood because it satisfies so many creative urges for people who really love doing it. So, but I've put that off. My focus has been, I got my license about 16 months ago. My first year as an agent, I did 19 deals. My focus has been helping other students and people in the extended community get their deals across the finish line. A lot of people want to call what I do transaction coordination, but I'm a transaction engineer. I can legally write contracts. I provide a fully brokered solution for people. So what I'm doing is way more than transaction coordination, which is making phone calls and running schedules and stuff like that. But most of the really meaningful activities in deal making are licensed activities. They require a license in all states, whether people have them or not. And that doesn't say there aren't a lot of people operating without that. So that's primarily where my focus is. I only do deals in California as a result, although I'm trying to build a team across the country. So we'll be able to provide that high level service to more people in more states. And slowly we're getting there. Mike, take it away.
Cool. Thanks, Gary. Nice to meet everybody here. I'm Mike. I'm also in California, about an hour north of Los Angeles in Ventura County, Thousand Oaks, if anyone knows where that is. I know Cindy is close by, and Cindy's here. Hey, Cindy, what's up? Yeah, I've been a broker for about 12 years. My primary industry, though, is in ad tech. So I've gone into marketing agencies working with companies like Google, Nike, P&G, helping them build out their sales platforms and like websites. So that's like my predominant focus. But ever since getting a broker's license, I always knew that there was probably a better way outside of just having a license and going out and trying to get listings. I know that that's a focus for a lot of people, but as you'll learn as you spend more time in here, that's not necessary, right? You don't need to go out and get a license to be successful in the real estate industry. If you're an investor, that's really when you are a part of the industry of real estate, so to speak. And that's what we're going to be learning a lot about while we're in this community. I'm one of those people that, as Gary was saying, was not one to take off in a rocket ship, slow going to the pace, but had been consistent with it. And through that, was able to meet Gary and through Gary Patrick, and have been learning a ton just in the last month that I've been on their team working with them. So it's the community is really the biggest aspect I could say is what you can draw from this. Gary and Patrick are both an insane amount, a wealth of knowledge that can be learned from and unpacked time and time again. And you'll be able to look at recordings of this and go back and review a lot of what you learn here. But get to know each other, get to know what people's goals and things are that they want to try to accomplish, and see how you can help people get there. And it'll pay off in droves if you guys stick to it and help each other and learn. So really happy to be here. And yeah.
I just want to amplify something you said, Mike, that focus on community. So guys, if you're going to show up into these meetings, put your name in your Zoom profile, try to be on camera so people say, oh, I know that guy, he's Luxley and he does it. I mean, I could start pointing finger. Yeah, say hi, Luxley. Luxley's a regular. You know, I see a lot of our regulars are here, a lot of new faces. Make sure your name, you're not Zoom user. I mean, we do have the small letter, the lowercase a guy that or gal that comes all the time. I don't agree with that. The power of the value that you're going to get here is meeting people, networking with people, eventually doing deals with people.
100%.
So you're cheating yourself if you're not taking advantage of that. And I'll get off that soapbox and give it back to Patrick. Take it away.
Yeah, no,
There.
I mean, I think a lot of what you're saying is really important, guys. I'm not the best networker, and if it wasn't for Gary, I would not be here today. I wouldn't be where I'm at. That's for sure. Just all of the knowledge and the information that he shared with me and going through the hard knocks. So get out there, get on the call, get on some calls with people and network, guys. So mindset, guys, let's jump into this. I want to get through a lot, so I'm just going to kind of move quick. If you have questions, put them in the chat. But mindset's number one, guys. If you do not give yourself permission, and this is a big one, people do not give themselves permission to believe in a goal that will keep them up at night and get them up in the morning. Okay. I'm not going to dive too deep in this, but just because I don't doesn't mean that it isn't everything. I believe that I could get to where I am today, and I believe that I can go further. And because of that, I will, right? You have to give yourself permission. Focus. This is huge, guys. Start really asking yourself, like, look at your calendar. If you're not scheduling everything on your calendar, or if you're not keeping track of when you're not working and what you're doing, this will change everything for you. If you actually take a look at what you're doing on a day-to-day basis and how productive you're actually being or not, this will change everything for you guys. So you have to be able to focus. And the most important thing that you could possibly possess, guys. And I will take somebody who has this over skill, over articulation, over the ability to sell. 100%, I will take somebody who is consistent. So consistency. Why is this so important, guys? Because if you show up every single day and you improve just by a small margin, a point of a percentage, overall, on a full year, you're going to be a completely different person, guys, and you're eventually going to have a breakthrough. So it's extremely, extremely important that you're consistent. So that all being said, how does this all work? This is definitely the most common question I get. And, it's not necessarily always the most organized thing, but at the top, you have pace, right? And you have this elephant challenge. I'll say EC. And inside of this challenge, you have the Circle app, which is how you found us. And you have a bunch of elephant leaders. And really, all of these leaders have the same goal, and that's to get you your first deal, or to get you another deal, or to just make money, right? So that's as simple as that. Now, in some of these groups, you'll have teams, and some of them will not. Some of them you'll just go to their meetings and they're just going to give you advice, right? So we have this meeting here, this team here will actually bring you guys onto a team, right? And so how that is going to work in our meetings, we're going to be meeting Monday and Wednesday at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's 6 Eastern, for about an hour and a half. And then so in these meetings, what we're going to be doing is the first, I would say 15 minutes will be Q&A. And that's with calling and creative. So if you have specific questions about calling on leads and creative, that's what we're going to be talking about in that 15 minutes. The next 10 will be our demonstration, where I'm going to be making calls so that you can see how I would handle a call. Now, my calls may be different than the script that I provide to you, but again, I'm a little bit more experienced. I've closed a lot of deals, so I'm going to come off a little bit different than I would expect you to, but I want you to see me taking action. Okay, now the 40 minutes after that, calls. You will make calls, guys. So if you are not here to participate, if you are not here to take action, I guess it's cool that you're hanging out with us, but what's the point, guys, right? Like, it's great to have the energy. It's great to be excited about real estate, but unless you actually take steps, nothing's going to happen for you guys. So you have to expect to make calls on these Zooms, or else you're not going to get anywhere. You can't get any feedback. And unless there's a feedback loop, right, you're never going to get better. You're never going to improve. So expect to make calls when you show up, guys. Okay. And then the last 15 minutes will be a general Q&A. All right. So where we'll ask, we'll answer any questions that you have. Maybe it's way off topic. Maybe you want to talk about novation agreements or something crazy. That's fine. We'll talk about it. But in these meetings, we will be relatively structured. Okay. So now, that being said, let's see, elephant compensation. Let's talk about that real fast. How do you guys make money? That's pretty important, right? So this joint venture submission form, we'll give you a link to this, but at the bottom of this is going to go over all the criteria. This is going to go over JV compensation. All right. So basically, if you bring us a lead in the beginning, when you're new, all we really want to do is have you bring us motivated leads. Once you bring us a motivated lead, we will negotiate that. We will get it under contract. We will either purchase it ourselves or we will find a buyer and dispo it. And the payout will be $500. I will say that the post that I recently posted on Circle giving you the states and cities that I'm buying in, that's where I would focus. Why? Well, we don't have to stop what we're doing and find a buyer. I'm your buyer. So it's a lot faster for you to actually make money. You don't necessarily have to. You can focus on the markets that you've chosen. That's fine. We can help you in those markets as well. Now, if you, and this has happened before where an elephant has actually brought a contract to me. And if we are selling that contract, or if I purchase that contract from you, then I will pay you out a maximum of $3K. Okay. So again, if you happen to find a creative deal and you negotiate it yourself and you get it under contract, then I'll pay you $3,000. Okay. If you have a contract, but we renegotiate it, we'll pay you out $1,000. Can you guys see this okay? How's that?
Did you make it clear,
Yeah,
Patrick, that this is the standard across all teams in the Elephant Challenge?
Yes.
Because we don't want you doing is shopping deals around.
You guys have to understand that every week, all of the elephant leaders meet. So we're communicating with each other, guys. And what we don't want is to waste each other's time. So what do I mean by that? That means that if you bring a lead to me and I'm working that lead, and then you go to another elephant leader and try to get them to help you with it, you're now using 2 elephant leaders, and that's a conflict of interest. Okay. So if you work with one leader, work with that leader. If it's not working out the way that you want it to work out, speak with that elephant leader and let them know that you want to work with somebody else. We're totally okay with that, guys. We're here to help you guys make money. Okay. Elephants.
And I would point out, you're welcome to hit as many Zooms as you want and learn, absorb, but just don't shop your deals. You could be doing deals with multiple leaders, but if you really want to work your way onto a team, then stay focused and just go to other Zooms to learn and listen.
Right.
Makes sense? Yeah.
Mike, can you make a note to edit this because this doesn't make any sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So the next one, if you find a buyer, let's say we get a creative deal and for whatever reason it doesn't fit my buy box and we go to dispo. By the way, guys, dispo just means finding a buyer to sell the contract to. It stands for disposition. If you help us with disposition, if you bring a buyer, we'll give you an additional $1,000. Boots on the ground. I've already had somebody help me out with this. You were paid out at close. So that means that if you show up to a property to walk it and you do video and you do pictures, and we'll give you a specific breakdown of exactly what you need to do when you're at the property, we'll pay you $500. Okay. And this is another one that's a little bit more advanced, but if you want to hold the property and we work the lead, we negotiate it, we get in a contract, we work the transaction, we would expect to make $15,000 on that transaction. So you would be paying us in that case. All right, guys. I'll be honest with you. The way that I operate is I'm very transparent. I'm very honest with you guys. I don't see myself doing this. Like, my intention here is to make you guys money. And if you're not already closing multiple deals, or you don't already have a career where you're making like great money, I don't think you guys should be acquiring property. That's just my opinion. And I actually think, Gary, correct me if I'm wrong, but Pace even mentioned that on the last challenge, right? Like, don't quit your day job. You're not going to get
Right.
rich on rentals. So yeah, guys, I make most of my money on contracts, but I am purchasing.
Where did you find the document, by the way, Patrick?
I didn't. I had created this previously. So
All right.
we need
Well,
to.
it should, this should be published, so we're gonna take that up as an amendment. I thought it was, I couldn't find it in the challenge, in the circle.
Right.
So it should be there, guys, so, and it should be accessible to everybody. I don't know if it was pulled or deleted by accident, but we'll get that answer for you by next Monday.
Right. JV terms, guys. JV stands for joint venture, by the way. So all submitted deals will be exclusive. What does that mean? You're free to work with any elephant leader on any deal. However, once you submit a lead with a leader, you're supposed to be working with us on that opportunity. So don't go submit the same lead to multiple elephant leaders. Okay, guys, that's not how we're operating. This lead will be owned by you and the leader until they get disqualified or you get direct authority from that elephant leader that you may JV with another leader. So if for whatever reason you don't want to work with that elephant leader, that's fine, but just tell them, hey, I want to go work with another elephant leader. Is that cool? So we get verbal confirmation, and then they're not working behind the scenes on trying to close that lead. All right. I feel like I'm forgetting something here, but that's fine. Cash deals. For me, this is important. Pay attention, guys. And I literally
And this is wholesale. Cash deals means wholesale.
Yes, cash deals. This is wholesaling cash deals. This is really, really important. Please pay attention, because I felt really bad. I just had to turn somebody down. If the property is not anywhere from 60 to 70% of retail value, do not submit it. If it's not in California, let me show you exactly where we're working. This is where I live. But these are the counties that I'm working in. So Sacramento County, Solano County, Contra Costa County, San Francisco, San Mateo, Santa Clara County. Okay, all of those counties. And we're also in LA County.
You stopped doing SAC?
We'd still do Sacramento County, but not, I mean, it doesn't really get me excited, to be honest.
Well, because the price points are lower.
Ding, ding, ding. Yep. So Los Angeles County and Riverside, Coachella Valley.
So you become a California snob.
I have. Yeah. But those are the areas that I'm working in for cash deals, guys. If you have a cash deal, I'm literally just going to take it and I'm going to send it to somebody else to help you with this position. I made this decision, guys, because of cost opportunity. Please don't take it personal. It has nothing to do with you guys. It's just, we're making money and we want to focus on optimizing where we're at. So if it's cash deal in California in those areas, I'll help you. If it's not, then either send it to me, I'll send it to somebody else, or try to find another elephant leader to help you. Okay, guys? Obviously,
Chardine asking, or Fresno. I just want to drop a little nugget that Kern County, like Bakersfield, over to Fresno, Visalia, that part of the Central Valley is really ripe for creative deals. Yep. And they're actually, because the price points are lower, there's often cash flow opportunity there.
Yeah, if it's in California, you can send it to me, guys. But I'm just saying that if you have a deal, it's truly a deal and it's in those areas, I will have it under contract in under 48 hours. I can guarantee you that. Okay. So if you want to make money with cash flow sale deals, that's where we're going to do it. Now, creative deals, basically anywhere in the Sun Belt. I've already posted inside of Circle where I'm buying, but if it's a creative deal, we can help you with it. Okay. What should this look like? Entry fee of 10% or less. Okay. Now, I will say, if it's like, for example, if it's in California and if it's in an area where I already have a rental, I might change my stance on that. But if it's like 20% entry fee, it's probably not going to be a deal for me, guys. So entry fee is, agent fees, arrears, cash to seller, transactional costs, all of those combined should be 10% of the market value of the home. Okay. So for example, if we have a home that's $500K, this is retail value, or ARV, after repair value, I want to spend $50,000 max to get into the deal. If I have to spend more than that, it's probably not a deal for me. All right. Interest rates below 5%. And by the way, if you're getting a list from us, guys, we're going to be giving you a list that reflects these interest rates. Like, we're not going to be giving you a list of interest rates that are above 5%. Interest rates of 5% or below. Minimal rehab preferred. Except in Phoenix and Atlanta or California. No fixtures. What does that mean? If it's like a lot of work, guys, it's not a creative deal. Remember, with creative deals, we're asking ourselves, when can we get our money back? With cash deals, we're asking ourselves, how much can we make when we flip it? Right? So if it's a flip, it's not a creative deal. You can't have both. Well, I'm not going to get into that, but anyways. So minimal rehab. Balloon. If it's a seller finance deal, Mike, can you post, do you have the link to, actually, let me find a link for you guys real quick. I'm going to post some videos that we previously did, just so you guys have an idea of what seller finance is, stuff like that. We're going to go into detail about this stuff as well. But if it's a seller finance deal and they're,
You know what we need to do, Patrick, is that those videos, let's do a post and pin them to the top of our chat.
okay. Yeah, I just pasted the videos inside of the chat.
Right.
So if seller finance balloon, guys, 7 years or longer. Obviously, if it's a Subto, we're not going to have a balloon. The deal must cash flow. For me, so this is my joint venture partners. They want cash flow. If it cash flows as a long-term rental, it's a deal for us. If it breaks even and it's in California, I'll take it. I know Pace would roll over right now in agonizing pain, but
No, he wouldn't be. He actually will buy, he'll lose money on them just to get tax benefits. He'd be so cool with what you're saying.
Okay.
I know, because I've heard him say things like that.
oh, maybe I had it wrong. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm happy, guys. I'm happy breaking even in the first year. So if you have a deal that breaks even, great. And action takers, those of you who are taking action, we will be meeting on Thursdays to underwrite these deals so you see exactly how we calculate cash flow. Purchase price, ideally it's going to be 90% or less of ARV, but honestly, guys, I'm okay with paying retail. I really am. If it's retail ready or close, I'm okay with paying that. That's just me. Flexibility and requirements for deals exceeding expectations in some categories. So these are all basically they're levers, right? And you pull and push on all of them. So if there's a ton of cash flow, then yeah, I might want to pay more than ARV. If there's no cash flow and I'm paying way under market, then that might be a deal for me. So it all really just depends, guys. But these are some good standards to follow. All right. All right, guys. Any questions on what we have gone over so far?
I had a good question come through from Delia about the process they can expect to be involved with if they send in a good lead and it goes through the normal channels, like getting brought into that and seeing behind the scenes kind of how things get closed.
That's a great question. So in the beginning, guys, what I want you to focus on is generating leads. And I know, like, the reason that we're structuring it the way that we are with, let me go back to this. Right. So let me actually just draw this out. So we have a list. You're going to call on it. Submit the lead. And what this gives you access to is action taker meetings. And this is where we'll be going over what transactions look like, how to underwrite, all of the detailed stuff. But if you're not here submitting leads, it's just not going to happen, guys. Like I want to spend my time, and I'm going to be very honest and direct with you guys. Like, my time is valuable. Gary's time is valuable. Mike's time is valuable. but I am willing to invest my time in people who take exceptional actions, right? Like I'm willing to go and like show you how all this stuff works, but you got to get to this point here. Does that make sense, guys? So really, that's a great question, but it's really important. This is the most important thing. And guys, when I first started, I'll tell you this, when I first started, do you guys think I had this fully figured out? Do you think I was handling disposition myself? Do you think I was doing anything in regards to the transaction? Absolutely not, guys. The only thing I did when I started was I did two things actually. First was I met with people like Gary. I met with Ty Guerrero in NorCal, Steve in SoCal, both students, all students. And I said, hey, look, this is my background. I got sales chops. I'm going to get on the phone. I'm going to create some opportunities for you. I'm going to bring you some opportunities. Can you help me? And they were like, 100%. We'll help you with the transaction. We'll help you close the leads. We'll even, give you some advice. And that's exactly what I did. I just brought them opportunities. And that's how I learned. And slowly I built my business and the conveyor belt. But if you don't create opportunities and if you don't get into a consistent rhythm of doing that, you're just not going to go anywhere. All right. Okay.
You want to stop and take questions as we're going, or would you rather get through a certain part?
If they have questions relating to what I'm talking about, I want to take them.
Cindy's got her hand up.
Yeah, Cindy's got her hand up. Cindy, can you turn on your video, please? If you're not willing to put on, you look great today.
Okay, I got my old lady look today.
Oops.
So my question is, I did submit some leads, never heard back. Were they all dead?
Okay, that doesn't relate to what we're talking about here.
Well, we were talking about action takers.
No, so I guess you can argue that, right? The five properties where I'm supposed to get information, I never got any information from them.
Okay, that was the other one. The other two leads. I guess my question is someone to get back to me to say it was dead?
Yep. Yeah, I emailed you about the last one. So what will happen, guys, is you will receive an email in regards to the lead. Also, if you hit me up in Circle, I'm not always going to be on Circle. I pop in and out, but I will respond to it. If you guys have already reached out to me, I've responded to every single message that has come through. Okay, guys. Cindy, I'll keep you updated, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome. I just need to reach out to them so they had me sign an NDA for those 5 properties, and I need to reach out again. I think they're dragging their feet on giving me financials, which is not a good thing.
Yeah, it doesn't look good. They haven't gotten back to you yet. Forget it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not a good
I'm
look.
gonna keep working on it.
Well, sometimes it takes 30 touches to get a deal done. Seriously.
Yeah, and I'm gonna follow up. I'll follow up every week, guys. Okay. All right. So where were we? We were talking about how to let's share my screen again. Okay, so in terms of this, guys, does this all make sense? The JV criteria, the terms, the compensation, any questions on this stuff, guys? Nope. All right. Okay, now resources. Let's talk about that. So we will give you a link to download our sales scripts. Also, we have rebuttal flashcards. This is one of my favorite ways to train people to be good at sales. And this is being ready for rebuttals. So like, if you look at these cards, they have the answers, and you can keep going through, the question or the objection that you're going to have. And there is exactly what you should be saying to that rebuttal. Okay, so there's that on this sheet. Let me go back. We also have the property lists that Mike put together. Arizona, California, Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, Nevada, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Texas. Inside of these lists, you have hybrid, which means chances are it's going to be a Subto and a seller finance note. You have 60 days on market, low equity. I'm assuming Subto is low equity. Yep. And these are all on market, guys. So you will be speaking to agents. And let's see, inside of these spreadsheets, will they have the ability to edit these? Oops. Mike.
They do not right now.
Okay.
Actually, no, they do. Yeah, we should right now.
Okay.
Status column at least, notes and status.
Yeah. So this will require you to do a little bit of prospecting. And what that means is finding agents' numbers. Luckily for you, agents' numbers are really easy to find, guys. You literally just have to Google their name. And in some of these listings, you'll find the actual number on the listing if you just look at it, like Redfin or Zillow. Once
Most of them are here.
other numbers.
Yeah, most of these listings have the numbers associated with them. In column,
Guys, can you give
was it
Are
like
these
AQ?
phone numbers
AQ?
agents? Are these phone numbers the agent phone numbers or agency phone numbers?
I don't think that prop stream distinguishes that, but
Oh, you pulled this from
that's where
PropStream?
yeah, that's where you can call.
Yeah, I would actually Google it, guys.
Yeah, Google these agents first.
Yeah.
Verify the phone numbers. You don't want to call into the agency.
Yeah. It's super,
Definitely
super
not.
fast. Yeah, that's what I would do. So again, you have these lists. Let me go back. You have call scripts. And then you have this joint venture form to submit. All right. Once they're in the pipeline, you will get notified that we've received it. You will receive emails. For those of you who've already submitted deals, thank you for putting up with my latency. Cindy, that message goes to you.
I wasn't being a snot. I appreciate you. I was just,
Appreciate you too,
I'm
girl.
a follow-up dog. I can't
I
handle
love
it if I don't hear back.
I love it. I love it. So yeah, that's basically what we're looking at, guys. So let's take a look. Go back. What else do we have on this? Property list. Oh, underwriting sheet. Gary is providing you with this. What I've
Yeah, but,
created,
you know, we should probably do
we will for action takers.
we'll probably do a session on how to use this. I
Oh.
see that you added a little section over here on the right.
Yeah, this one here, guys, is what you're going to be using. We'll talk about how to use this, but it's very simple, to be honest. You're going to be putting the asking price in here, in this column here. So let's say it's $1 million. It's going to give you gross proceeds from the sale. And then if there's an open loan, let's just say it's 850. Let's take we'll just use this as a Subto example. Then this is going to give you your net to seller in this specific situation, so that you can copy and paste this into the submission form when you do. Okay, we're going to be, some of this stuff we're still building out, guys. We're going to be making some changes, but this is here to help you. And we'll be going over this entire thing for action takers when it comes to Subtos. So this will show you exactly how to calculate how much cash flow, cash on cash return, so you can know when you have a good deal. And then when you do get to a point where you're providing this information to buyers, they're going to have a different listening of you, because you're going to have all the information that they need to make an educated decision on whether or not they have a deal that they want to move on. Cool. All right. Let me pull up this. Okay. Lastly, I do not have this built out yet, but we will have an elephant fund for you guys. It'll look similar to this, where if you're interested in lending to us and investing in our deals, we'll be providing you 12% per annum on our deals, which is what my private money lenders give me now. So those of you who perhaps you don't have enough time to invest, maybe you've got a great job and you're just willing to put your money somewhere, this is a great opportunity for you. Right now, the cost of money is quite expensive. And so there's a great opportunity for people to lend. So if that's something that you're interested in, we'll be providing you with one of those forms as well. So right now, guys, your homework is to one thing that you will need is if you want to join our team, obviously opt in. Mike, can you do me a favor? Could you put that link in there for me for them to opt in?
Yes.
Yep.
Hey guys, when you're sending messages in the chat, please don't send private messages.
Yep. Yep.
We want to, if you've got a good question, then everybody should hear the answer.
Delia, it's going to be 12% per annum. So we'll be giving you 12%. Generally, yes, that's correct, annual. So a point, you'll be paid out a point a month, essentially, is how you can look at it. And all of the deals will be sent to you. We will send you all of the metrics on the deals so that you can see exactly where it is, how the structure is, all of that stuff. I'm also thinking about bringing a program into the lending where at a lower percentage, I'll actually bring you in on these deals in terms of showing you how it's done. That idea was given to me by another investor, but we'll talk to you about that soon. Yes, Mike just posted, those are all the areas that we're working in. Oh, one other thing. We will have a website built. So you will be representing our brand so that when you're talking to agents, you can say that you're with our company. You'll have a company info packet sent. As soon as you provide information on a lead, it'll automatically send them company information on us. This is the website, and we're having it built right now. So we will look at like a legitimate brand. So you guys will have more confidence on those calls. Cool. All right, what am I doing here? I'm gonna stop my share. I actually went through that faster than expected, which makes me happy.
That's because I didn't interrupt you too much.
That's true. So homework, guys, opt in if you want to join, if you want to get access to the list and the scripts, opt in. Also, you will need either batch leads or PropStream to see mortgage and transaction history. Okay. I use PropStream personally. That's what I like using. I don't know. I honestly can't tell you why. I think I just gravitated towards PropStream. I thought it was just better.
I can tell them why.
Tell them why.
No, beyond a doubt, PropStream has the most comprehensive set of data points on which to filter. Plus, it has import capability, which is extremely powerful. We use that to find the needles in the haystacks.
Yeah.
Privy is a really good option for getting at MLS data, but the truth is, and it has really good user interface, especially for comping, but it doesn't have coverage everywhere. And where they have partnerships, it's awesome. Yeah. But it's not necessarily the best one for pulling lists.
I agree. I love Privy for comping when there's good data. It's super fast. I love it. Sometimes even with MLS data, you won't find comps. I've noticed that. When it comes to mortgage and transaction history, it will have it. It's not as detailed as PropStream. What I mean by that is you can see everything that's happened, who the buyers were, sellers, and so on and so forth. And you can kind of read between the lines in a lot of situations and disqualify leads. What I will say, the only thing that PropStream is lacking, and I don't know why this is, maybe it's just a lag in data, but what I've noticed on newer builds, like builds in 2022, you will have a hard time finding the mortgage transaction history. So I personally, in our business now, we use PropStream and Privy. We use both of them. My dispositions manager and partner, he's always inside of Privy because he's always looking for buyers. He's always looking at who's on title, where flips have happened. So it's a very, very powerful program. And I think both of them are extremely valuable to have.
Anna Marie, do the agents that have MLS have to look? I'm a licensed agent. I subscribe to 3 different MLSs and I still have PropStream, and I still have other tools that I use, title company. There's not one single source of information that's got everything. I'm spending stupid money on 3 MLSs plus PropStream every month. And I'm spending hundreds of dollars a month on technology.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Cindy has her hand up.
Cindy doesn't turn on the video.
Yes.
You know the
On
rule.
I'm sorry. I opted into the list. So now when we go into the list, can we go ahead and copy them? Or are you asking us to put in, because everyone's probably going to be working on the same thing. It's first come, first serve, right?
Yeah, Mike, how do we want to handle that? Because I don't think we've talked about
Am I being obnoxious? It's just because I
no, you're not.
will
That's a great question.
put shit in.
No, and it was asked earlier. I think the best way, guys, because we can't prevent you all from calling the same people.
Right.
But the
Okay.
best way to do it would just be when you do call someone, there's a status column. Mark what the status of that call was, and leave a note so that someone that's going back to the list knows that it's been contacted and move on to the other thing.
Yeah, but
We're going to be updating the lists frequently as well. So what you see here is just for today. As we pull more data and info, like this is going to get refreshed. So what you see here isn't what we're all going to get for the whole period.
Is
Yeah,
this foreclosure, or is this,
Yeah,
what's the focus of these lists?
we have vacant, right? Well, actually we have hybrids, right, that are vacant.
Yeah.
And we
Yeah. The
have
hybrids are, sorry, go ahead.
and we have the low equities, which are on market 60 days. One thing I would say, guys, and this is really important, please pay attention. Put down your phones, listen to what I'm saying. What I want you guys to do, I'm so glad I didn't forget to say this. I almost did. Is I want you guys to record your calls. Just like we're on this Zoom right now, and we're recording this Zoom right now. That's what I want you guys to do. So if you don't know how to record on Zoom, Google it. It's real simple. But I want you guys to record your calls so that we can give you feedback on your calls. Okay, guys? Really, really important, guys. In the chat, who is super nervous about doing that? Say yes. If you're not, say no. In the chat, guys, are you nervous about recording your calls? Look at all those yeses. Some of you guys got cojones. Look at some of those no's. Great. Guys, I'll tell you this from experience. I have closed hundreds of contracts in my previous businesses when I owned 2 brick and mortar businesses. I've taught sales in my life. I've had so many sales reps, and even I was nervous and scared when I first got on the phone. Okay. So if you are scared, your brain is working. It is afraid of pain. That is okay. But what I would recommend that you do is you take the script that I provided, the Subto script, and you say it out loud. Just literally say it out loud, guys. Recite it out loud. Just set a goal 5 to 10 times a day and get on the phone, guys. You have to get on the phone. You got to make mistakes. It's okay.
Someone asked a good question. Is California is a 2-party consent state for making calls, but if you're worried about recording, just say, once you introduce them, by the way, I need to say this, this call may be recorded for quality assurance and training purposes, and just keep talking. Don't say, is that okay?
Honestly,
Don't
guys,
get permission, just
listen.
say that really quick. This call may be recorded for training and quality assurance purposes.
Guys,
This call may be recorded for quality assurance and training purposes.
do we
Gary,
have to say that, Gary? I'd hang up on me if someone did that to me.
I'm going to jump in, guys. I'm going to jump in. What Gary is saying is correct, and I'm not disagreeing with him. However, as long as nobody has proof that you're recording their calls, there's nothing enforceable. So I personally would not say that in the call, and just know that I'm in California. I will get my ass sued if I record somebody and I try to use that information to go to court or whatever like that, right? So just
You're
record
putting
the
some
conversation.
calls on YouTube, right?
Yeah, I am.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So-
But guys, it's like, listen, nobody wants to go to court. That's not fun for anybody. Just know that, like, that if it's your specific state, you shouldn't be using that information to put leverage on anybody or anything like that, right? I actually had to play a recording for a broker, a managing broker with an agent that I was doing business with that was breaking the law. I recorded the conversation, and I did it in another call where I told her, because she asked for the recording, and I said, due to California law, I can't provide this information from you. And I just got off the email with my lawyer, who's also recommending that I do not provide that information, but I'll play it for you. Anyways, the point is, guys, know your state, know your laws. I wouldn't mention it, and I wouldn't use those recordings against that person. Okay. All right. Any other?
I spent, a few years where all of our sales staff was remote, and we recorded every call, and we said that on every call, and no one hung up on us because of that. It sounds like they might, and maybe there's a person or two out there, but once you've broken the ice with them and you just mention that really quickly, and you can say, I don't know how many of these get recorded. I'm just, doing my job here.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you can say that.
it may be. I'm sure they don't record everything we do.
All right, guys, this is the point where you get to go crazy and scratch that question itch you've been having. All right. I've been getting a ton of people hitting me up in my DMs. If I don't get any questions now, I'm going to wonder what the hell's going on. All right.
Corey and Mel, they have a question.
This is the real estate power couple right here. I love it. What's up, guys?
Hey, just to be clear, on the recording calls, I think the way I'm interpreting that is basically we're recording the call just for our own personal measure, just so we can do our own understanding for asking the right questions, what our challenges are. Not recording the call to use it as leverage for something else later down the line. It's just for our personal understanding how the call cadence went. Did I get stumped? Did I say too much or did I just sound like an idiot? Whatever the case may go, it's just for our own.
And you can also record de-identified, like after you've introduced yourself and once that person on the other line has disclosed who they are, then start recording so that it's completely de-identified.
Yeah, again, guys, so like we record everything in my acquisitions business in California. Every single call gets recorded, and the purpose that we do this is for call auditing. So I listen to the salespeople's calls and we talk about it. It's like training. It's like athletes who play football or basketball. After the game, they watch their game, they watch it over, and they ask themselves, how can we improve? Right? It's the same thing. The other thing is just like as a reference, like sometimes you'll make a promise or you'll say something and you'll be like, damn, what did I say? Right. So it's a reference. The other thing is I'll have a team member and they'll be like, hey, I need help with this lead. I can listen to the conversation and go into it and be like, hey, John, I'm just calling, blah, blah, blah. And we have personal effects too in the conversations where we build rapport. So it's a very valuable tool. But the main purpose of this, guys, is that I want to get on these. I want to listen to your calls so that I can train you guys how to become better on the phone. The better you get on the phone, the more comfortable you get, the more confidence you have, the more deals you will close, period. Right? So that's it. That's all we're doing it. It's for internal use only, guys. Cool.
It is a valuable tool for sure.
Yeah,
like I said, not only did in that business I mentioned, did we record the calls, we used software, AI software to analyze them to see if they were in this case, call software like Gong, and there's some Chorus is another one. It can look for things. So if I want to make sure that all my reps are getting the 4 or 5 pillars, that software will score it for me. I can write scripts in that software that will analyze the call and tell me, yes, they did this. Yes, they did this. Yeah, and no, this they didn't do that. So there's some really unbelievable value you can get from some of the software out there. Now we're getting a little off topic. I realize that because just from the look on Patrick's face.
You can tell when I'm texting. All right, George, what's up, bro? Can we bring these people up on stage so we can see them?
Hey guys.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing.
No, they're not coming up.
I wasn't too sure. Do you guys have like a CRM that you guys are utilizing for these wholesale for tracking it?
Patrick, don't you just change the view?
Oh, well, that's what I wanted to do.
Well, change the view. No, don't change your own view. Put it back to the speaker view.
I don't know what you're talking about. Let's answer this guy's question.
You
real fast.
just made the gallery. You just made it gallery.
Well, remove pin. There you go. Is that better? I wanted to
Well,
bring him up on stage so we can actually talk to him.
Well, that's what I've been doing.
Oh, okay. George, so the CRM that I use is Go High Level. It's commonly known as REI Reply or Astro Blaster. So basically, I was one of the early adopters to that program. I started using it when it first came out. I know the CEO. I mentioned that because just so like when people hear Astro Blaster, they think it's, you know, it is the CRM, but every system is set up differently. So we have a very specific way that we set ours up, and it is the same program, but it's just the way that it's executed is differently. So that's what I recommend. Ours is called leadfix.io. I'm not reselling that yet to real estate investors. I will be soon. And I'll be setting up systems and talking about wholesale and stuff like that. So that's in the works, but we're just focusing on this for now. But yeah, I would recommend Go High Level, or REI Reply, one of those.
Awesome. Appreciate it.
Yeah, 100%. Okay,
Okay.
you're gonna have to tell me how to pronounce your name because I'm gonna mess this up.
No, you're fine. It's Shafaraz, but everyone calls me Faraz, if that makes
That's
sense.
not hard to say. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's just how it's spelled.
Yeah,
And it's Siddiqui.
Siddiqui. Yep.
Love it.
Really tough.
Yeah.
Exactly the way it's spelled. People just
Exactly. My
are
parents didn't do
intimidated.
that. They picked a hard name, but they didn't. They just sounded out and spelled it when they converted it.
Yeah, people just get intimidated by looking at it.
No, I'm not intimidated. I don't worry.
More people mess up my name. Trust me. My last name.
Oh,
Guaranteed,
yes.
you know.
Yeah, I had a couple of quick questions. I'm actually new to the Elephant Challenge as well, and I'm not sure if I'm able to find the documents, but I know you guys were mentioning a script, or I saw it on the comments. Where would I be able to find certain scripts? And just want to know like what questions and what information I will need to identify in like these type of calls before submitting them in a lead.
Mike, do you want to repost that?
Yes, I have it.
That link will take you to an opt-in page once you have that information. And guys, just so you know, I'm not going to be, we're not going to be remarketing to you, at least not at this point. That's just so you basically check a box that you understand the terms, and that's how we're giving you this information. So once you opt in, you'll be redirected to that page with all those links. So you'll have a script. Once you read the script through, you'll have a better understanding of exactly what you should be saying in these calls. And then if you go through the rebuttal cards, you'll get common objections and rebuttals, and those will give you the answers to those comments.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And it's going to be in the chat, Mike. Unless if I
just posted it. That opt-in
Oh,
form is right
got it.
there.
Perfect. Thank you guys, and I'll go ahead and do my due diligence on my end.
Right on.
Adam has a question in the side chat. Should I be in another group if I'm only looking to be a gator? I am a contractor now and just looking to put my money. So I don't need gator funds specifically. I don't need transactional funding in my personal business. However, if you wanted to make 12% annual, we will have a fund for that if that's something that you'd be interested in. All right, and Anna Marie and Rod, another power couple. Let's bring him up here.
Oh, we got David up right now.
Oh, we do.
Are you not seeing the spotlighted
I'm
view?
not. That's why I tried to change it.
Mike, can you see the spotlighted view? Is everybody else seeing the spotlight view?
I have it. Yeah, it looks
Yeah,
like.
so that's what's
Yeah.
getting recorded. At least it's your own personal view. Don't change the view for everybody, but change your personal view to speaker view.
Speaker.
Review. I don't care. Let's keep this thing
All
rolling.
right, keep going.
Right, related to
Veronica, sorry, I was just gonna say Veronica's trying to raise her hand too and has a question, but Veronica, it's just if you click on reactions and you click raise hand, it should be right there.
I think if you have your camera on and you do this, it'll work too. But go ahead, David. What's up?
Yeah, it's supposed to.
I think it's related to the CRM. Well, I have a couple questions, but a couple, starting with like related to the CRM. Is there some kind of like business entity, or should we be setting up like some kind of professional sounding email and things like that, like Google numbers or anything like that? Is that getting too far in the weeds or moving too far ahead before we start reaching out to people, or is there value in doing that early?
If you want to mask your own number, then getting a Google number would be smart, right? If you don't want somebody to have your personal number, then that's what I would do. Occasionally I'll use my personal number. I don't care. Like, but most of everything that I do in my business is through a CRM. So everything's recorded. I have a log. We document everything that we do. So if you're working with us, you don't necessarily have to have a CRM. You don't necessarily need all the software that everybody's talking about. Eventually, if you want to start your own business and do this by yourself and scale, yeah, forget about it. Like, we've got hundreds of opportunities in the pipeline. We have thousands of contacts. So there's just no possible way that we could, as a team, manage what we're managing without software and systems. So, I mean, we have AIs that schedules tasks for us. Like, we've got a lot going on. But when it comes to working with us, guys, all you need to do, opt in, get on the phone, and then submit those leads, and then we'll handle all that stuff. So you don't need an LLC, you don't need a proof of funds, any of that stuff.
Okay.
And the great thing about that, guys, is you're positioning yourself with somebody who has a reputation, somebody who has a track record, somebody who can perform. So it's going to make it easier on you guys, because you got to remember, these agents are getting hit up by thousands of wholesalers every day. And when you present yourself and position yourself as a company, they're going to have a different listening of you.
Okay,
What
now we have,
expectation?
go ahead.
Do I have time for multiple questions?
Absolutely. Hit me.
So what expectations should I set for people that are interested, like a lead, like what the follow-up is? Is it like somebody from the company is going to reach out in the next week, or you're going to get an email, or what's like the thing that I can lead them with?
That's a great question. On the script, you'll see to get their availability. And then when you submit the lead, it'll show their availability and we'll reach out to them. So what we want to do is we want to be firm but lax, right? So getting their availability, but not necessarily scheduling that specific time, because who knows when we're going to be able to get on the calendar with them.
Okay. And then is there any short advice that you notice, like in the notes or comments on a lead, that's like the differentiator between good and great comments, or good and great notes, or anything like that?
Motivation is the most important pillar, right, when we're speaking to leads. So knowing the motivation and really breaking that down, and that could be a very awkward question to ask when you're speaking to an agent and or seller. But generally what I'll say is, this is a really interesting house. I'm just curious, John, do you know why the seller is selling? And then I'll let them talk, right? And so like, well, they're going through divorce, or, whatever it is, that's going to give us more information as to whether or not to disqualify a lead, right? For example, owner occupied, owned free and clear, going through divorce. That's not a lead for seller finance. Why? Well, they're getting a divorce. They need to split their asset, right? And they'll probably want to cash out. They don't want to be tied to it. Is there a possibility there? Yeah, maybe. Do we want to spend our time on it? Maybe it's not a high priority for us. So motivation is going to tell us our exit strategy on all of these leads.
Right, great.
Very welcome.
Okay,
Thanks.
so now we have Anna Marie and Rod.
Hi there.
Hi.
So we haven't really participated much in these Zooms. We are Sub-2 students, and is this a good place for us to start?
100%. When I first started, because of my marketing background, I was all over the place. I was spending a lot of money on trying to get leads, and I wasn't focused in on one market. First Elephant Challenge happened, and I decided to commit to it. I decided to choose a market and commit to only wholesaling cash deals. And in a year, we're at a pretty decent run rate. So I think this is a great place to start, because you're going to be around people who are taking action, and the cream is going to rise to the top. You're going to see people fall out, and you're going to see people who take action. We're going to reward them. In fact, I'm going to be bringing people into Sub-2 for free. I'm not going to announce that now or how that works, but eventually I will be rewarding you guys and getting you into Sub-2, those who are not already in Sub-2. So yes, the answer is this is a great place to start.
Are you also working in Florida? Because I thought I saw that in Circle.
Yep, we are buying creative deals in Florida.
What city should we focus on?
Mike, do you want to post those in the chat? So
Sure.
I know that everybody's going to have that question.
I also just got like past my realtor exam in the summer, and I was very hesitant with joining a brokerage because I want to do real estate investing. I want to do buy and hold eventually. And I was worried that I'd joined the wrong brokerage that wouldn't like encourage my personal real estate investing. Do you have any advice?
Yeah,
I want to give you my small piece of advice, and then I'm going to let Gary take over because he's an agent and he has a really vast knowledge on this. I always say, for what purpose? So if you got your license, by the way, fantastic, congratulations. That's a milestone. But is that going to help your end goal? So are you trying to acquire property? You're trying to wholesale it? Does having that license help in that goal? Yes or no? And then that would dictate your course of action. Gary, what's your take on that?
Well, I think it can be a plus, but you need to interview the brokerage and tell them what you're interested in doing. And some of them, if they hear Subto come out of your mouth, they're going to freak out and like,
yeah, or wholesale
vampirist, or they'll freak out. And that's what you got to do is interview the brokers, make sure that they're cool about it. If they don't know what you're talking about when you start mentioning it, it's probably not the right place for you.
Right. And I will say this, most agents don't want to deal with wholesalers. Why? The number one reason, guys, because most wholesalers do not perform. They waste people's time. I've talked to two agents, just recently. One of them was like, I've never dealt with a wholesaler that's this professional and has so many people on their team. Literally, I've been in the business for X amount of years. I can't remember what he said, but he's like, this is crazy. You guys are operating at a different level. And I had another one who they were like, we don't want to do it. And it got to a point where we performed and they were like, okay, I guess it's fine, but these are my requirements, right? So it just depends on how you're operating is really what it comes down to.
Okay, my last question.
Sure.
I brought this up in different chats and people sort of like don't answer it. So I don't know if it's a taboo thing. Do you ever use Fiverr, the virtual assistants, so that they just give you the leads that seem possible?
It sounds like an easy button to me. It's not going to work. I mean, it might, like it's a numbers game, but this is a relationship business. Like I know the agents that I work with, because we do a lot of direct agents, like I know stuff about their families. Like I know what they did last weekend. Like we have personalized notes in our CRM about who they are. Like I show up to properties and walk some of these properties and shake people's hands. Like I'm showing up to REI meetups. I'm meeting private money lenders. Like this is a relationship business. If you're going direct to seller, by the way, this is a whole different topic, but there are people that use VAs and they train them and they get results. So I'm not saying that it doesn't work. I think it depends on your approach, really what you're going for. If it was me, I would start by closing my own deals first, because if you can't do it, how can you train someone to do it? And by the way, I made a YouTube video about this, and it's a very common mistake. People get into real estate and they drop 5K, 10K, 15K. And I see their posts on social media. They're like, man, I don't have any leads. I haven't closed any deals and I'm 20K in. Why? Because they didn't do it themselves. They don't have a deep understanding. They can't embody the process in which they need to execute to close these deals. There's no one on my team right now doing tasks that I already haven't done myself. Right? So that's kind of my take on VAs.
So, which is just as an entrepreneur, you don't want to do everything, but when you're starting out, you should know how to do everything.
Right.
So, ultimately you want to get out of some of those roles, but you're going to have an easier time managing people if you've done the task and you can guide them correctly.
Right.
So really good point. Thank you, Patrick.
Thank you.
Next up is Ty.
Yeah, hey everyone. Appreciate all the YouTube videos, by the way. I've been looking at those and taking some action. But looking at the list, there's an MLS status that has like an active, sold, failed, pending. Do we just want to focus on the active ones there, so we don't kind of attack list items that are not actually active?
Those should actually, they should all be active as of right now. This prop stream isn't very accurate in that column that you're looking at specifically, and
Okay.
a little maybe outdated, referencing like an old sale. But the newest updated information is that these are all active. So
Is that based on prop stream data, Mike, that list?
yeah, and I'd go through and confirm.
Well, it's
Yeah, go check them, folks, because prop stream's MLS data sucks.
Well, guys, so let me clarify here. So what we're doing is we're taking active listings and then we're feeding them into PropStream.
Okay, so you're using the
So
all
PropStream,
right, then they're highly accurate.
yeah, they're
As
accurate.
long as we didn't base it on PropStream, we didn't make the selection based on PropStream. We made it based on. Okay, perfect.
Now, what I would add to that too, just to kind of button this up, is if let's say tomorrow a listing fails or a seller goes, you know what, this isn't working, I'm taking my property off the market. Great. I would take that address, I would plug it into True People Search or Fast People Search or whatever, or familytreenow.com, find their number and call them. Hey, I noticed that you had a property on market and it's no longer on market. I was actually really interested in purchasing that. Are you still interested in selling? Right. The last sub-2 I closed was direct to seller. So just because it goes off market doesn't mean it's no longer a lead. Actually, in my opinion, it could be a stronger lead if you get a hold of them.
Okay, and then we can submit, before I saw this list, I actually found a property and submitted to that link I got from one of the YouTube videos. So it doesn't matter if I add that to this list or not, right?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the last?
It doesn't need to be on this list, right?
That's correct. As long as, I mean, if it's in one of the areas that we're working in, even if it's not in an area that we're working in, I'll still help you out. And guys, I'll be very honest, like the primary reason I'm here is to help you guys. Like, yes, I want to make money. That's my secondary reason. But if I think at any point in time, I cannot do the best job out of any of the elephant leaders to help you, I will immediately send you to them. Okay, so if I have somebody in a market and I know that they're really good in that market, I'll send you over to them. Like, I want you guys to close deals and make money.
Thanks.
Yeah, 100% time.
Okay, next up is Veronica. Thank you, Ty.
Hi, guys. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
So Veronica,
Okay.
you still want to ask the question about EXP?
Yeah, I actually have a few questions, and thank you for teaching me how to raise my hand because I'm sure I'll be doing that a lot. But so one of the questions is this directed more towards people who aren't real estate agents? Like, because what I'm hearing is that the list is pulled with agents who already have a listing agreement. So like, am I in the right chat, would you say?
What are you in it for, Veronica? What's your
So
goal of being in the
working-
Elephant Challenge?
I'm working to being a unicorn agent, to be exact, but I want to get into the realm of investing, and I feel like this would be a good startup place, but I don't know if it's something that I can get in trouble with my brokerage. From hearing that like Laura said, that EXP is not very investor friendly with agents. So I just want to make sure that I'm doing things right. But my ultimate goal would probably be to be a unicorn agent.
I have 4 people in acquisitions in my company right now. 2 of them are agents. One of them, actually, she was an agent from New York, and the other one is an agent in California. So, obviously, Gary can give you his information on this too, because he's an agent. He knows more about that than I do. But the way that we structure things is they're representing me. So, or I shouldn't use the word representing. They are working in my company. So when they do source a lead, I'm the buyer. I'm the one actually going on title. My entity is taking title. So they're really not in the process of representing me at all, or the seller. So that's kind of a way around that. And I would say that, like, they're making more money than agents do. I mean, and investor agents, in my opinion, make way more money than normal agents do. Gary is at the top of his brokerage because he's working with investors. We do more transactions, right, than retail. So, Gary, do you have something to add to that?
Yeah. So Veronica, that what I was trying to get is what your goal. Do you want to work mainly with buyers, mainly with sellers?
I would ultimately like to work more with investors who are doing fix and flips or like short-term rentals.
So investors do a lot of buying. If they're fix and flippers, it's usually one for one, right? Everything they buy, they're going to sell. But all right, so here's the deal with my experience with EXP. I don't work directly with EXP, but I've worked with a lot of agents from EXP. And when I first started, I actually worked with an agent in Northern California where they wouldn't let her do a straight up seller finance deal. So I just did the deal as a referral for her. But in that last year, I think they've softened up, and I'm just talking about California right now. Where are you from?
I'm in Stockton, California,
Oh,
Central Valley.
Stockton. Okay, so I've noticed a shift. To the latest was do it with somebody I talked to was doing a Subto. They were the kind of feedback they got was, well, we don't recommend it, and where they might have gotten a year ago a response, absolutely not. Now it's we don't recommend it, but if you do everything right, it's more wishy-washy kind of response. The best thing you can do is go to your managing broker and ask him or her what's up. Am I allowed to get involved in transactions like this?
Yep.
How long have you been an agent? Are you a new agent?
I've been an agent for 2 years, but I just did the move to EXP probably about 2 months ago. So I'm under a team, but I'm doing this by myself.
Yeah.
Well, let's see what they tell you, and you can always reach out to me. I'm happy to talk to you about where else you could plant yourself if you don't hear what you want to hear.
Okay.
Yeah, and I
Thank you.
agree with Gary. I've actually had conversations with managing brokers, and they're really easy to talk to. In my experience, they want to cover their ass, right? And like just like escrow officers do. So I would just be open and honest about it. Like, this is what I'm thinking about getting into. I want to do it with the utmost integrity, and I want to do it at a higher level. Is this something that you're open to in this brokerage? And if not, then find somebody that is.
Awesome.
Just to be illustrative of what you're getting into, because I manage a lot of these transactions for other agents and for investors, and most of what I'm doing is creative. And I've actually brought an attorney on to my team this week in terms of somebody I'm working with to do all of my all-inclusive trust deeds, because I wasn't satisfied with what was going on with the title company. When I told them I wanted to do a mirror wrap, they're like, what's that? And they weren't, and I want to make sure that my sellers are properly protected and secured, even though most of the time I'm not representing them. As agents, we have an ethical responsibility to both parties to make sure that everybody's protected in the transaction. So I've actually partnered now with an attorney to bring into the deals for most of these deals. So it's a journey to get there and do it right.
Yeah, I'm happy that you brought that up, because I just spoke with my title company last week about this, and they were kind of like, they don't really want to be involved, but I feel like
Who's
it's
your
because
title company?
WFG.
Yeah, I'm WFG is friendlier to investors than most.
You're talking to the wrong. Like, I work with WFG in both Northern California and Southern California. So you just need to find another escrow officer.
Okay.
You're just talking to the wrong officer.
Yeah, WFG is the same. I introduced Patrick to the escrow officer he uses in SoCal. So, and I use her for deals everywhere in the state.
Yeah,
But
you're gonna find, like, I've talked to escrow officers who don't know what an assignment is.
well,
Yeah, they didn't seem like they were too comfortable with what I was talking about, so I don't think that I would go for them for these type of transactions.
yeah, each office is going to vary. But Patrick, I brought in the attorney because I thought it was, Whitney and I agreed that this was the best solution. And
Right.
Whitney recommended him. And I'm really glad because I feel like I'm bringing more value to the transaction than ever by
Mhm.
having an attorney involved in these deals to make sure they're ironclad okay. So
Right.
it's like I feel like I've taken the step up to pace. So now I've got, my own Sean.
Right. Right.
Only his name is Paul. So
Mhm.
great question, Veronica. Like I say, if you're struggling, reach out to me and we can talk.
Thank you.
You can just take down my phone number. All right, next up is Diedrich.
Hey, thanks, guys. So Patrick, thanks for responding so quick on Saturday. Do we have time for a couple of just wholesale questions? I know you guys want to stay on track for what
Oh,
we're doing right
absolutely.
now.
Right now we're general Q&A, so you guys could ask us my favorite.
Cool.
We'll be on.
Next question. So you're familiar with where I'm at. I had a contract close on Thursday. Had a buyer lined up that I don't really think he knows what he was talking about. But so the buyer fell through and didn't really know what else to do. Had made a mistake and didn't have a couple of buyers lined up. So don't want to burn a relationship with the agent. This is a investor friendly agent that we're working with. I asked Gary about that last week. He gave me some good advice, but I don't want to burn the relationship with the agent. So if the dispo company that you recommended to me doesn't work out, what's a best way of keeping that relationship up, but then also so that I don't put myself in this position again, really what is the best way to find buyers and have those set up before going into wholesale contracts?
Yeah, so there's two questions there. And so the first one's most important. It's like how to handle disposition, right? And so in our company, disposition is it's like a religion. Like we take it very, very seriously. And so the way that we run, the way that we operate is we don't have a buyer locked in until EMD has been wired.
Okay.
Like we address every single deal like where we have not found a buyer yet. Even if somebody's like, we're going to wire the money, we're still talking to other buyers. Like, we have this property available until EMD is in. That's when, and we don't ever fund our own deals. Like I mentioned, we have.
You're not putting your own EMD
And
down?
how many days do you get that buyer locked up, Patrick?
It takes us about 48 hours.
See, I know on the contracts it's 5 days max.
Yeah.
So that's how good you have to be. And Patrick's business is now that good.
Yeah. We've got a guy full time and we're going to be hiring in that position as well. So like we not only have our VIP buyers, but we have layers. So the first layer is VIPs, people who we know are doing high volume or who've already performed with us, right? Like they're our go-tos. Hey, we have another deal for you, right? The next layer is those that are buying in that area that maybe aren't as high volume, which could be really good buyers as well. Because sometimes they're not as experienced and they're willing to kind of roll the dice on deals. And so they come in with financing or cash. And then we have inbound leads, which a lot of them are a waste of time and we vet them. Like a lot of them are wholesalers or agents who are trying to connect us with people or stuff like that. So we have a step-by-step process to vet them. Okay. So that's how we address our dispo. Now, if I were you, what I would do today, if you don't already have Privy, buy it now, right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So get in there and see who's buying in that area, see who's bought in that specific area and pull a list.
Okay.
You have to do some deep prospecting. You got to go on opencorporates.com.
Yeah.
Find the LLC, figure out. What I'll do is we'll look at their address and we'll cross-reference that with their name and we'll try to find contact information just like you would for a lead direct to seller, right? And then get on the phone.
You're essentially reverse engineering like opportunities in the area that have already closed and finding buyers that way, right?
Yep. Hey, John, I noticed that you flipped a property on 123 Main Street in this area.
Yeah.
We're actually have a property under contract right now. And I was just wondering, are you still active in the area? Buyers are probably the easiest people to talk to because when they pick up the phone and you're talking about flipping, they're like, oh, money's on the line. They're going to be happy to talk to you.
Yeah.
So I always tell people those are the easiest people to call, buyers. And I would just keep making those phone calls. Another thing that you can do is you can find out, you need somebody with MLS data, but if you see somebody who flipped a property in that area and you can't find them through open corporates, you can see if you could find the agent that represented them on the deal. Quite often they're like business partners with them, or they're doing business with them in some capacity, and just call them. Hey, John, I noticed that you represented a property that sold in this area. I'm actually in the middle of doing a flip, and I would really love some insights from the investor that you worked with. Is it possible that I can network with you and that investor and get their contact information? Agents, if they're good, agents should be the best networkers out there if they're a good agent, right? So they're going to give you that contact information. So that's the first thing that I would do. Investor lift is something that we use as well, but again, that's that third layer. Sometimes you're going to get some trash coming in, but you have to know how to vet it. When you're vetting a buyer, you have to ask them, what are some of the projects that you've worked on, and do you have any entity docs? That's for inbound leads. So we'll vet them to make sure that they're actual buyers, and you'll be surprised how many of them aren't real buyers. They're just trying to daisy chain your shit. So if you have strong buyers in the area and you don't get interest within 48 hours, you might have missed something.
Okay. Might
not be a deal, and you're going to find out why. Right.
Yeah.
So if that is the case, then that's what you bring to the agent. You go, look, just be honest. I really apologize. And you address the elephant in the room. I know that I've tied you up and I'm not performing. And that's the last thing I want to do. I want to make sure that I address that and I acknowledge that, because that's not the type of relationship I want with you. And that's what we'll tell the agents that we're dealing with if we can't perform. But like I said, within 48 hours, I'll tell the agent we need to cancel. Like we'll cancel within that window of time, because we'll know, and our buyers will give us feedback as to why they're not buying. We'll always ask them, what is it about this opportunity that you don't like? And then they'll tell us, and then we'll take that back to them. And sometimes we can get a price negotiation. We've done that many times, especially if it's on market. I would say 80% of the time we are going for a price reduction. And I would say maybe about 60% of the time we get those.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, that helps. So, as far as, if I'm making conversations to buyers now this week, I'm able to go ahead and present to them and say like, hey, I actually do have like an opportunity that I'm trying to find a buyer for. We can go ahead and have that conversation up front. And if, they're not interested in that particular, maybe I can use them for future opportunities and, get feedback from this opportunity if they're not going to buy, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, this is an industry of bending the truth, right?
Yeah.
Buyers are liars, sellers are worse, agents are horrible. It's like, even if you don't have a property under contract, you could have that as your opening intro. Hey, John, I got the property under contract, whatever. And then, you found a buyer for it or whatever. It doesn't really matter. But like I said, most buyers are going to be more than happy to talk to you about what they're looking for, because in most markets, inventory is limited.
Yeah.
Especially with what's going on right now.
Yeah.
It's one of it's one of the most favorite things that agents say. Inventory is limited.
Delia, can you turn on your camera?
Very helpful. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, sorry I couldn't help you that, Diedrich.
That's all right, man.
All right, let's do one more question.
Yeah, let's get a few more of these guys.
We
Delia.
got two hands, but
Yeah,
Delia, I can't spotlight her because she can't turn on her camera.
Well, unmute and we'll talk to you. And then George has his hand up again.
Yeah. I'd like to try to finish closer to on time, though. All right, Delia, can you unmute? All right, George, turn your camera back on, please.
Hey, quick question. When you said investor lift, I noticed that Pace has or the Subto community is one of their sponsors or something like that. So if we join Subto, do we get a discount to investor lift under their enterprise edition?
I don't know, but I know the VP. I can ask.
That'd be awesome. Just because, if they already have it subscribed, I'm just curious what it would cost us to get access to those 4.5 million buyers.
Yeah, I'll be like, I don't have an answer for you. I don't know. I just pay them whatever they want because we're making good money. But what I will say is that our go-to strategy, this is the number one strategy, is we go on Privy, we find who's flipping in that area, and we call them directly and we create a relationship. In fact, one of the reasons, like, we create relationships like very well. Like, one of the reasons that I'm even considered bringing on my current partner is not only does he bring business into our business without me asking him to, but he will go out and meet these buyers, go out to lunch, buy them drinks, like, and now they're offering us to pay ad spend and doing all this crazy stuff. So get on Privy, find the buyer, and go directly to them, create a relationship. That's the best way to do it. We have specific areas, like we know right now in specific areas, we have $1 million property. We know exactly who's going to pay cash for it. We had one buyer in Santa Clara County. He purchased 2 properties from us. Each of them were around $1 million in like 2 weeks. And it was like, boom, boom. All we had to do was make one call because we created a relationship.
Okay. Appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, 100%.
Great, great work today, Patrick. Mike, thank you.
Yep. We do have a meeting on Wednesday, guys. At the same time, we're going to be hanging out with Effie. Gary, do you want to tell them who Effie is?
Yeah, my friend Effie Colbines from the Subto group. If a lot of people know her, she's going to be talking about networking and relationship building. She's amazing at that. Everybody freaking knew Effie in 6 months of the mentorship. She's one of the best known people in the group. So we'll probably spend the first half hour of the hour and a half talking with Effie about those skills.
Cool. That's going to be really exciting. Delia does have her camera on now.
All right.
Smiling.
We'll add this.
I had to move from my phone because I couldn't turn my camera on. So hi everyone. I'm super new to this. I'm in Gator community too. So I want to try it out this wholesaling, but I'm trying to understand a little bit from the list that you said. I didn't get into that Google Doc yet, but there's the list, and then we also have to have a program to call those leads, or the number is there, or everything is there in those lists that you have on the Google Drive.
Yeah, so once you opt in and you get redirected to that landing page, you're going to see some resources. One of the resources is a script. This is what you would be saying on a low equity call. I'll also put a seller finance and hybrid script there as well. And the lists that we're providing you, there's 2 types of lists. One is vacant properties where there is some equity there, so it's going to be a hybrid situation. And then there are low equity properties that are on market, and those are going to be what's referred to as a sub-2 opportunity. So you would call on those opportunities. If they are interested in any degree, then you would submit those in the form that we provide you.
Okay, perfect. So we don't need the access to the prop stream.
You will. I would highly recommend you guys get it, because you're going to need to see what we're going to be teaching you guys is how to calculate equity at ask. And I'll make a video on how to do that. It's actually pretty simple. I literally just went over it, but you're going to need to know how to look at a mortgage and see what's on the note and figure out exactly what that seller would net, so you can have that conversation
prior to calling, right?
For these calls, really all you're doing is soft pitching the idea of assuming the loan and paying out equity. So you don't necessarily need to calculate it. We're trying to make it as simple as possible for you guys. But in order for you to become a higher level negotiator, like, you're going to need to know these numbers. You're going to need to know how it works.
I see. And once we submit these leads, then we'll have the Thursday call with you where you show us how the call is going through, for example, or something like that.
Exactly. On the action taker only meetings, we're going to be giving you more information as to each part of the conveyor belt of the transaction.
Okay. And for Florida, you said there is just the Subto or creative type of
Well,
leads that you're taking, right?
The
Not
only
cash.
place, right? The only place we're doing cash deals is going to be in California, Northern California and Southern California. Those are the only places we're doing cash deals. If it's a cash deal in California and it's not in those areas, you can still send it to me. I might still be able to help you guys. But any other state, we're only doing creative deals.
And sorry, one last question.
No, that's okay.
Do you recommend, because in the Elephant Challenge, they Pace told us to call a title company and choose a market. So I kind of did that in a way. So we don't need that anymore. We can just go in this list and try to be able to choose anything and start calling and submit the leads to you, or
That's a
what's your
great question.
recommendation?
You can choose to work side by side with us, and doing and executing what Pace recommended. And when you do get a lead, we can help you with it. The reason that I personally don't deal with foreclosures in our business is it's time consuming, right? So I chose not to do it. There's a very, very high level of motivation, right? There's a lot of pain there, especially in the last 48 hours, right? And so for me, it didn't make a lot of sense for me in my business. So that's why I didn't do it. But again, if you've chosen a market and you want to focus on foreclosures, go for it. Do that. And we're here to help you if you come across something where you need help. Okay.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
100%.
Okay, guys, I keep putting hands down, so I think we got to stop. These don't go on forever. We need to be a little more disciplined about this. We are not telling you not to do what Pace told you to do.
Right.
If you're smart, you'll do what he told you to do just to get the experience of doing it. And you have an opportunity to create a relationship. You should choose the market. Again, Patrick started us out with focus, be focused. So that means focus on a market because you're not going to learn every 5 markets all at once and as a beginner. So, right. So we're not telling you to do what Pace. Now, as far as Patrick choosing in his own business not to focus on foreclosures, he's got a good reason for it. One of the things that struck me once, we had someone in Subto who was doing a great business early on, and Pace got hot on a certain type of customer. And this particular, it was medium wave Dave, Patrick, Dave.
Yeah.
Anyway, he started going after this type of customer, and guess what? He said, you know what? After 5-6 weeks of doing this, we realized that it didn't fit our conveyor belt. It was disrupting our business.
Right.
It was totally messy. It was just like throwing crap in the gears.
Right.
And so, what Patrick told you is right. Focus. What Pace is trying to teach you is building relationships and working with challenging sellers. So you can choose to do both and still work out just fine. Anyway, there you go. Just don't want to leave you with the impression is that we're trying to tell you not to do what Pace tells you to do, because he is the man.
Right.
Anyway, you ready to end this, Patrick?
All right, guys. Thank you so much.
We had about 100 people here the whole time. I think
that's
just dropped off.
Love it. Thank you guys for joining us. We will see you Wednesday at the same time, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 6 p.m. Eastern. We'll be hanging out with Effie, Mike, and Gary, and I. Thank you guys. See you next time.
Bye.
See y'all.